Hello aspirants, this is our website www.aisha.com. We have started a new initiative presently which is called question and answer. So here you can write answers to mains based questions which are posted daily. You can even upload images of your answers here. So the best answer per day would be given 5 points, and anybody acquiring 50 points in a month would be given a cash reward too. So please do avail this opportunity. Plus current affairs, it is uploaded daily basis up here. So current affairs for the month of December, the compilation has been uploaded for all 3 sections. So you can click here, you will come to the full news. PDF can be downloaded, full editorials, and also the question bank assignments with the content provided is available for download. Now looking at current affairs for 10th Jan 2017. The news items that we have picked up from the Hindu are these 9. We'll discuss them in detail. The first one, Supreme Court hints at setting up SIT for Panama paper probe. So we already have an SIT. SIT is Special Investigation Team. So this was Supreme Court appointed Special Investigation Team on black money, which is headed by retired Judge Justice M.B. Shah. So this SIT on black money has many cases before it. So this is the entire timeline given up here. You can see that PIL seeking Supreme Court's intervention to bring black money back to India was filed by senior advocate Ram Jethmalani in 2009. Then in 2011, Supreme Court passed a judgment setting up a special investigation team on black money headed by retired Justice M.B. Shah. So this SIT was asked to be recalled by the government, but the Supreme Court rejected the government's proposal and asked that the government should disclose the names of all Indian account holders who are having accounts in overseas banks. So this now the special investigation team is looking into various cases where Indians are involved in black money cases, black money stashed abroad, which is not unaccounted money, not accounted for. So now presently the news is that this SIT is already overloaded. So you can see that various orders have been passed by the Supreme Court. Even the SIT on black money was set up by the present government formed in 2014 BJP government. So all these aspects still have not given results as desired. So special investigation team, if you see, government has kept on asking the Supreme Court has kept on asking the government to disclose the names of Indians who have accounts in foreign banks which are unaccounted for. So this is the special investigation team, various cases which have been referred to it by the CBI too. So it is overloaded is for sure. Presently what the Supreme Court has done it is planning to set up a special investigation team on Panama Papers leak. So here again, what is Panama Papers leak? We'll see. Here again Indians were named, high profile Indians who have their money stashed abroad. So that is unaccounted money, offshore accounts which are not accounted for, in which Indians have their money. So this is for evasion of tax. All this is black money. So wherever taxes are not paid and money is unaccounted for, that is black money. Right. So now government has also taken initiatives because the multi-agency group which has been formed on Panama Papers is also looking into the matter. So it is a group comprising of various agencies, enforcement agencies like Enforcement Directorate, the Income Tax Department, all together have come together to form this multi-agency group under the government to look into the names. Around 500 Indians have been named in this Panama Papers leak. So to look into this, they are working. But the Supreme Court has now said that we will also set up an SIT specially for Panama Papers. So this is the news right now. So what was this Panama Papers leak to? We'll see. So this is Panama, which is a country in Central America. So here you can see the country is a tax haven. So here there is a organization, law firm called Mossack Fonseca. So this Mossack Fonseca was a specialized law firm which helped in creating offshore companies. So offshore companies means somebody wants to create a company here. Here taxation laws are minimal, so you don't have to pay much taxes. So all gains which you make through this company will have minimal taxation to be paid. So then offshore companies, these are actually dummy companies. So money is sent up here by people, and this is a tax haven. Your money is safe. You don't have to pay tax even in your own country where you reside. So this was the case. These Panama Papers got leaked, and this leak has named large number of people throughout the world. So many present people in power have also been indicted in this Panama Papers leak. So there are 12 heads of state, including 6 currently in power, who have been named. Even Prime Minister of Pakistan Nawaz Sharif has been named in this leak. So this is how it went ahead. From Mossack Fonseca, it was leaked to an anonymous source and then it was published in the international media. Around 109 international media organizations got hold of it and then they were all published. Okay. So public servants, politicians, companies and even banks have been named in this Panama Papers leak, having accounts here, having on offshore companies here. So here you can see this is the important heads of states who are indicted here. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, even British Prime Minister David Cameron, Ukrainian President, Chinese President Xi Jinping. So all these have been named in this Panama Papers leak. So what is required is an investigation in this matter, how much of truth is there in it, and then taking action on them. So these are the Indians named. Amitabh Bachchan, Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, and these prominent Indians have been named in the Panama Papers as well. Of course, they refute any such charges. That's why investigation is required. The next news item is Supreme Court seeks response of 7 states on land for SEZs. So special economic zones are set up by states and for this land has to be acquired. So presently the Supreme Court had passed this in September 2016, this important landmark judgment on Singur in West Bengal was passed by the Supreme Court. So taking a cue from it to now, Supreme Court itself has sought a response. There is a petition filed before it and Supreme Court is asking response of 7 states. 7 state governments to explain why huge amount of fertile agricultural land has been forcefully acquired from farmers and tribal people and these lay barren, they are abandoned or they are in the hands of private real estate developers. So how this is justified, on what grounds has this taken place? Because Land Acquisition Act clearly disallows agricultural land to be diverted at such a scale, plus also forceful eviction is not allowed of land. So that is the point on which the question is raised. So these states have to give their answers to the Supreme Court now. Even the center has been questioned, center along with 7 states. So this Singur judgment too, you should know what is it all about. So this had come recently in September 2016. So this is recent current affairs only. So this is Singur in West Bengal. So in 2006, the Singur plant was established here. Tata Motors, Tata Nano plant was established here. So in Singur, land had to be acquired. So this 997 acres of land was acquired by the government. So government acquires the land on behalf of the private sector. The private sector is allowed to enter into the state and set up itself here so that investments come and it will result in growth, development, employment opportunities generated. So that is the ground on which state governments promote or take efforts to ensure that facilities are provided, land is acquired for them. So on their behalf, land is acquired. Then High Court in 2008 had upheld this land acquisition. But Mamata Banerjee, who was then in opposition in West Bengal, she started an indefinite strike in Singur. And Tatas finally had to pull out because of the stiff resistance there. So Tatas went to Sanand in Gujarat and the nano plant was established there. But in 2011, when Mamata Banerjee came to power, she won the assembly elections and she came to power. She is the Chief Minister of West Bengal right now. She said that she'll return around 400 acres of land which was owned by unwilling farmers who were forcefully asked to sell this land. So this land would be returned. So for that purpose, a bill was passed by the West Bengal legislation and this bill was challenged by Tatas, that land which has already been under their control, how can that be returned back? So a petition was filed before the High Court and the Singur land bill was struck down by the High Court. But in 2016, August 2016, last of August, Supreme Court cancelled this land acquisition. So this is the status right now. The land acquisition was also cancelled on the ground that this land acquisition was done for public interest. So what is the urgent public interest in this matter? It is not justified. So that is the reason why the Supreme Court held that the reason given for it was not justified, and that's why the land acquisition process was not following the due process of law. Because in public interest, you can even acquire the land which the people are not ready to easily leave. So sufficient number of confirmations or approvals which are required, that people are agreeing to sell off their land. So there's a percentage of population which in a particular land area who should accept acquisition, and then only if they are ready to leave, then only the land acquisition can take place and due compensation should be paid. paid. People are not having the problem of compensation. They are not ready to take compensation too. They don't want to leave their land. So this is a stiff resistance which we see in land acquisition. So in such matters, the states invoke such provisions, special provisions which are there, that in public interest land can be acquired even without taking the due consent required. So such bypassing the law, which was undertaken by the West Bengal government then too, was called unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in this landmark judgment of August 2016. So this will give a cue to other lands which have been acquired for establishment of SEZs in other states. So SEZs are special economic zones which are established in India. The earlier name for them was EPZ, export processing zones. So the first EPZ in Asia was also established in India, in Kandla in Gujarat. So this was in 1965. Then post that, many EPZs were formed, and from 2000 onwards they have been named as special economic zones. So these special economic zones are zones within the country. They are within the territorial boundary of the country, but they have laws which are not same as the laws applicable to domestic companies. So they have special privileges for them, tax concessions given to them. So this is the idea, is to encourage foreign investments, that foreign investments would come in, set up their bases here, and that would result in development, employment generation, base being established, so that economic activity would be promoted. So that is the rationale behind SEZs. But of course there are problems too. So these are some of the projects which have been protested against, like Odisha, the POSCO project, steel plant project, which was protested against, and POSCO had to leave because of land acquisition problem. In Adani Group also, in the initial stages for setting up SEZ in Mundra, faced trouble in land acquisition. So land acquisition for SEZs is a problem which is generally seen, and the facilities which are provided are basically tax concessions. You can see exemption from duties. So problems which are seen are that even companies which could have been set up in the geographical boundary within the country, these are domestic companies, but they are relocated to SEZs because of the tax concessions provided there. So then there is no new or additional economic activity taking place, but the same economic activity, this is a speculation, which would have taken place without SEZs is now shifted to SEZ, and they take tax concessions, and the government suffers because taxes would go to the government eventually. So this aspect is there. Land acquisition is a major problem for SEZs. So how fertile farmlands can be diverted for SEZs? What should be the laws, rules, regulations for this? If making them more effective is a concern. Even SEZs are tax havens. The duty is lost to the government. So how can both things be balanced? Because we need revenue generation too, plus we need SEZs and attract foreign investment too. So how to balance these two provisions? Coordination between the central government and the states regarding SEZs. A single window mechanism is also provided, but without coordination between the central and state government, it becomes difficult to implement it. So these are the major provisions which are questioned. Then the next news item is Telangana plea against Krishna Tribunal award dismissed. So Supreme Court was asked to, petition was filed by the Telangana government before the Supreme Court, in which it was asking Supreme Court to go against the decision, that the decision of Krishna Water Dispute Tribunal 2. So Krishna Water Dispute Tribunal was passed initially. The second Krishna Water Dispute Tribunal was also appointed, and after Telangana was formed as a separate state coming out of Andhra Pradesh in 2014, the demand was that Krishna water should be reallocated now. So the states which are having Krishna basin under it are Maharashtra. You can see this is the Krishna basin shown here. So it's Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and now Telangana too since 2014. So since Andhra Pradesh has been bifurcated now, so what should be Telangana's share and Andhra Pradesh share? So that is the question. So the demand was that the entire reallocation should be seen, but Krishna Water Dispute Tribunal 2 said that no, reallocation would be seen only between Andhra Pradesh and Hyderabad on the total allocated to undivided Andhra Pradesh. So that should be bifurcated between Andhra and Telangana. So that was the Krishna Water Dispute Tribunal 2's stand. So this was not liked by Telangana. It is asking for the whole study to be made again. So for this they petitioned before the Supreme Court, but Supreme Court has dismissed this petition right now. It said that it would take place as per the award given by the Krishna Water Dispute Tribunal 2 gives, and as per the provisions under Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act of 2014. So this is the news that Supreme Court restrained itself here. So this is regarding Krishna Water. The first tribunal set up was Bachavat Tribunal. So it gave its award in 1976. So that, of course, the riparian states here were not satisfied with the award given to them, and post that Krishna Water Dispute Tribunal 2 was set up. So these are the states involved. And the second tribunal was set up in 2004 and it gave its verdict in 2013. In 2014, Telangana was formed as a separate state. So then there was a need to readjust this order. So this readjustment, the second tribunal has said that we'll do it. This is Brajesh Kumar Tribunal. We'll do it on the basis of only allocation which has been given to undivided Andhra Pradesh, which will be bifurcated between Andhra and Telangana. So this is that. This is how Telangana has been formed. So this was undivided Andhra Pradesh. So Telangana is this upper region here. This is the Rayalaseema and coastal Andhra, which formed presently Andhra Pradesh after bifurcation. The next news item is National Green Tribunal notice to Centre Delhi government over plastic ban. So the National Green Tribunal has a petition filed before it by Plastic Association. So this is All India Plastic Manufacturers Association. They challenge the ban which has been put on manufacture, sale, storage, usage, import and transport of plastic bags in Delhi. So this Delhi government order notification which came under Sheila Dikshit government, former Congress government in 2012. This is, the association says that this is null and void. It goes against the provisions of the Environment Protection Act and the rules framed under it. So it says this is an illegal provision. They have no power to impose such a ban, and the National Green Tribunal has been petitioned before. So presently a notice has been sent to the central government and Delhi government on this matter, and National Green Tribunal will give its award soon. So this is the National Green Tribunal. We should know about this by now. We have discussed it quite often. It was established in 2010. It's a statutory body, means established under a statute. Statute means law. So the law is National Green Tribunal Act of 2010. So that's why it's a statutory body for disposal of cases related to environmental protection, conservation of forests and natural resources. So it can give relief and compensation too. It is not bound by the Code of Civil Procedure, but it is guided by the principles of natural justice. So this is the basis on which it can take its decisions. So it has to dispose appeals within 6 months of their filing. And it has 4 places where the tribunal is presently set up, apart from Delhi. The principles of natural justice which you should know are general natural ways in which the procedures which have to be followed when justice is to be provided. So this is rules against bias. No person can be a judge in his own case. When you yourself have a stake in the case, you cannot be in hearing, adjudicating on the case. So rules against bias. Second is hear the other side. Without hearing the other side, you cannot pass a judgment. Both sides have to be heard. Then reasoned decision. There should be reason behind the decision or judgment which has been taken. So these are some major principles of natural justice. So no laws, complex codes, procedures are there, but principles of natural justice which have to be followed when decisions have to be taken. So this helps in making the adjudication quicker. The next article is sex ratio in Haryana touches 900 mark for the first time in 20 years. So this is regarding Haryana, where sex ratio at birth has touched the 900 mark. So this is the first time in 20 years that this has been possible, and this is exactly 2 years after the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao campaign, B3P campaign of the present Modi government was launched from Panipat in Haryana. So it is a campaign against female feticide. So it is seen that Haryana is amongst the states which have a very skewed sex ratio, especially the child sex ratio, which clearly shows that female feticide is rampant. So there is already a law, PCPNDT Act, which is there, Prevention, Preconception and Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act, means those techniques should not be used for detecting sex of the child. So ascertaining the sex of the child is not allowed in India. So these laws, as well as stringent implementation of them, plus creating awareness regarding female feticide, plus also providing benefits to the girl child, is helped in taking this forward. The prominent personalities here have also been roped in. So the famous Dangal sisters, Phogat sisters, Babita and Geeta. So they have also been roped into campaign for Beti Bachao Beti Padhao. So they are from Haryana. So these initiatives have paid off now, and the sex ratio is improving. So this is regarding Beti Bachao Beti Padhao campaign. An account is established in the name of the girl child. First, it looks at institutionalized delivery to ensure that the girl child is born without any female feticide being undertaken. Plus also then educational facilities are provided for them, and the benefits accrued here result in the girl child being sustained. This is regarding the child sex ratio. Overall India child sex ratio is anyway low. Plus in states like, you can see this is Jammu and Kashmir, the child sex ratio is declining drastically. In Rajasthan too it's declining. In Delhi it's a little on the increasing side. Plus this is Punjab where it is increasing, and also in Haryana. So we are seeing changes here with respect to child sex ratio. Yeah. Then so you can see the lowest presently is in Haryana. So Haryana in 2011 census with the worst child sex ratio. This is the status which has been accorded. That Haryana has the worst child sex ratio. The next news item is Tuberculosis Institute warns against use of new drug. So we discussed this yesterday too, bedaquiline. So this is a drug against MDR TB, multi-drug resistant TB, and this is not easily been available. It is presently there only at 6 centers in all over India, and there are stringent norms under which this is allocated to patients. So this has been protested against. A case has been filed in the judiciary, but presently the National Institute of Tuberculosis and Respiratory Diseases claims that bedaquiline cannot be easily provided because still there is testing required on this, because it can have drastic consequences too. So as long as there are concerns regarding bedaquiline, it's called BDQ, till that time it can not be rolled out on a larger scale. So this can be fatal. It can result in BDQ resistant bacteria also coming into the community. So these are the claims being made or reasons being provided by the government. But then if that is the case, then bedaquiline should not be introduced at all. But it has been introduced and not been provided to who desperately need them. So that is the major concern. So of course the reasoning does not have full justice or full sense into it. But bedaquiline has been approved by the FDA. US FDA has approved it. Even World Health Organization has provided guidelines on issuing bedaquiline. So when it is already been provided, there are conditions being put forth and can be provided. Indian government itself is providing. Then why few are denied? So that is the main question. So the next news item is second Scorpene submarine ready. So this is Khanderi, the second Scorpene submarine under Project 75, under which 6 Scorpenes have been acquired by India. So the first submarine has already been undergoing sea trials. So this is Kalvari. So second submarine has been named Khanderi. So this Scorpene submarines which have been acquired from France. So this is an assistance and technology transfer deal which has been signed with them in October 2005, under which this is being done, and these are being built at Musgao Docks Limited. So this is technology transfer in defense which we are seeing here. So they will be scheduled to be commissioned. First will also be scheduled in December 2017. So by the end of the year we expect that the Scorpenes would be inducted into the submarines would be inducted into the Indian Navy. So let's see. So this is regarding the 6 submarines. India is also developing the nuclear powered submarine. So one we have already tested, that is INS Arihant. So this is ballistic missile nuclear submarine which has been undergoing developmental tests now. Then the next news item is Center allows Provident Fund contribution via private banks. So earlier Provident Fund contributions, in which government also makes a contribution plus the employers also make a contribution into the employees Provident Fund. So employers contribution earlier could go only through public banks, public sector banks, or through payment portal like PayGov. So presently a notification has come from the Labour Ministry saying that contribution by employers can be done even through private sector banks. And the last news item is awarding PIOs in recognition of their services. So these are the Pravasi Samman Awards which have been awarded for 2017. So this has been awarded one to Zeenat Jafri, who is from Saudi Arabia, a person of Indian origin, and she has established the second International Indian School in Saudi Arabia. Then others are even Portugal Prime Minister, whom we have spoken of earlier too. India-Portugal signed the defense agreement for niche arms as such. So this joint development will be done. So this Prime Minister also, he had claimed, Antonio Costa, that he has Indian roots. So he is also a person of Indian origin. He's claimed to be the first Indian origin person to be elected the head of government in a European country, that is Portugal. So he then Mauritius Minister of Finance. Mauritius is a country which is having a majority, a huge amount of Indian population. Then British politician Priti Patel. then even European Parliament Labour member Nina Gill, and then the US Department of State's member here, and additional Assistant Secretary of State Nisha Desai Biswal. So they have been awarded amongst the 30. They are amongst the 30 who have been awarded Pravasi Samman Awards during this Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which is going on in Bengaluru. So that is it. These are the news items for today. You don't need to remember these names. Just you should need to know about Pravasi Samman Awards and about Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which we have discussed yesterday. So that is it for today. Thank you so much.